Right, so if you've seen the last video, you know that I had unboxed a parcel containing two packs of cards from the good people over at $10 Slimer, as well as this very nice note. And you could see the video on that as well, if you were so inclined. And I did mention that I had a couple other parcels, big parcels actually, that included books that I acquired whilst I was in Arizona visiting fellow writers. I do have a couple of them out of box because I brought them over on the plane as I was, flying back, and I wanted a few to amuse myself with. So I shall start the video off here by showing you what books I got. So we have here Doris Lessing's first novel, The Grass is Singing. You can see it's in pretty rough shape, but want to read it, which is fine by me. I actually had to do a little bit of repair work on this because this whole cover was about to fall off, as in it was the glue on it basically disintegrated, and this thing was about to basically come off and such if you moved it. So I put some glue there and repaired it, which is nice. So we've got Grass is Singing, Doris Lessing. We have this really thin volume here. You can see just how thin that is, of Virginia Woolf's Flush, which is an a biography on Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Spaniel. Elizabeth Barrett Browning is, I believe, related to the poet Robert Browning, and this is the biography of her dog, who was very integral in the course of her life as a poet. And it's a very thin book. Got it solely for that reason. And yeah. Next here, you've seen this book before in my top 20 Funkadelic hits. It's Maigret Has Scruples by Georges Simenon, a Belgian mystery writer, who I've never read before, and I've heard about him, and I've been anticipating reading some of his books. I got this along with a couple others that I'm going to unbox here. Very thin thing. He wrote over 500 novels, which is ridiculous, but, he could write 60 pages a day. Did you know that? 60 to 70 or 80 pages a day. That's crazy. I got a couple of books by an author whom I admire very much, Robertson Davies, a Canadian novelist. I'm trying to get all of his novels. The only one that they didn't have in Arizona, at least for a decent price, which was the one I needed, was Fifth Business. But they had every single other Robertson Davies book, which is neat, which is good, but I need Fifth Business. I read The Rebel Angels by him, which I quite enjoyed, and I have a couple other books. This one here, these are 2 volumes from his Salterton trilogy. This is Tempest Tossed and Leven, not quite sure how you say it, of Malice. So those them right there. And then this little hardcover here is Ears of the Jungle by Pierre Boulle, who is also the author of Bridge Over the River Kwai and Planet of the Apes, a French science fiction writer, whom I'm trying to get all of his work. So, and every time I've read him, I've enjoyed him immensely. So, that's one more to add and read, hopefully. So let's, without further ado, let's get the first parcel here. Big one, as you can see. It's a big mother. And let's see. This is box 2 of 2, so should I just open the first one? Yeah, I'll open the first one first. these books that I got, these are mostly for myself to read, but I also did get a couple to sell on eBay to hopefully get some money out of, which is good. And I'm going to just have to go in there with the scissors, really, and chop it up. So this is box 1 of 2, according to the labeling. And I'm going to honor that labeling, as I said, by opening it in its proper way. We went on a book odyssey, as my aunt calls it, who is also a fellow writer, which is where you go all over the state. Well, not all over the state, but in several different towns and cities, and also in Phoenix as well, and go to or barrage all the bookshops there. It's quite costly, and you know, at the end of the day, you feel as if you've wasted your money and you get more than you intended. But thrift shops, I got most of my stuff at charity shops, are a lifesaver. So let's see what we got here in box 1. Okay, so we have The Ugly American by, who is this by? William J. Lidera and Eugene Burdick. Main reason why I got this book was because it's banned, as you could see. I saw it everywhere in Arizona, and it was almost like a sign that it said, "Get me." So I did get it, and haven't read it, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, we got here a book that's liable to fall apart. Payment Deferred by C.S. Forrester, who's the author of the Horatio Hornblower series, and you can see the cover there. Oh, Jesus! Well, that came loose, but I was looking for the African Queen, but could not find it, so I got this instead. You can see there's Sylvester Stallone there on the cover, even though it's not Stallone. I'd like to think it is, but anyway. Okay, so now we got something that I may actually sell. This here is Britain's Story Told in Pictures. Initially, I was going to, when was this? Airn, published by Airn Books. And initially, I was going to, let's see there, it's nicely illustrated, going to keep this for myself and read it, but then I thought, well, hey, I could maybe get some decent money out of this, and I'm going to sell this thing on eBay. So if anybody's interested, just go to MIEST '19 or -19, and we'll strike up a deal somehow. So there's that. More paper. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I guess we'll keep going down this pile. We have here The Complete Tales of Washington Irving, who, as you know, wrote Legends of Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle, those classic short stories. This is just a big volume compendium of all of his stories. I didn't have them all, so I decided, to get it at a thrift shop. It was like a $1 or a cent, as Goontick says, or Ahab, one of you two, says. And yeah, pretty nice little hardcover edition. I guess I should separate which ones I'm gonna do. You weren't supposed to see that. I got to separate which ones I'm going to sell and which ones I'm going to keep. So, let's see what else we got here. We have here a William Trevor novel, Love and Summer. My previous experience with Trevor, reading The Silence in the Garden, was not so good because I thought he was extremely flat and had no real flair at all. So I thought I may as well give him a second chance, and I guess we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, Trevor. I'm trying to get all of James Clavell's books because, as you know, he wrote the Asia saga, and 6 books, and my sign language teacher actually recommended them to me. So they had almost every single book there. I have Shogun, and I also have Whirlwind, but I was missing the other 4 volumes. So I believe they're in the rest of this pile here. So we have here Taipan without a cover, but it's the book, which is all I need. Jeez, I keep bumping this thing, I'm sorry. We have a very tattered, worn copy of King Rat. This dust wrapper is most likely going to disintegrate because it's got water damage, and you can see there it's liable to have holes. So anyway, that's that. Continuing down here, we have what is this? I keep forgetting. I forget. I forget about half the stuff I buy because it just looks cool. But we have here from the Russian writer Nabokov his novels and memoirs from 1941 to 1951, published by the Library of America. Because, as you know, they're born in Russia and of Russian descent. He did live in America for a good part of his life, and this particular volume, was put into the library because of that. And this includes The Real Life of Sebastian Knight, Ben Sinister, and Speak Memory, which is his autobiography revisited. So, there's that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We have William Kennedy, who's said to be perhaps the best fiction writer living today in America that I know of. I haven't read anything by him, but we got his book Ironweed, which is neat, So, yeah. End of this pile. Here is perhaps what many people think to be Australia's greatest writer to have ever lived, and I've read him, and I think he too is great. It's Patrick White, and I have a few of his books here, but this one here is The Cockatoos, which is his collection of short novellas and stories, 6 of them, and I have The Vivisector, and I've read at least major portions out of that one, and now I have Cockatoos and a couple other books by him. So let's see what else we got here. Well, speaking of Australia, we have Jono by David Malouf. Only reason why I got this is because I recognise the name, David Malouf. He's also an Australian writer. Oh dear. I don't know if it says Hannon or Hannah, but I have a story about that. Stay tuned. Anyway, there's that. We have here, I guess I got this because it seemed intriguing and I never saw this book before, and it is a classic apparently. This is The Virginian by Owen Wister. This is apparently a Western novel, an early Western novel, sort of in the vein maybe of... Or is this a novel? Yeah, I think it is a novel. I don't really know, but it's in the vein of Willa Cather, Zane Grey, all those types of Western writers. So that may be something. All right, next pile. Let's see here. We have here by another Canadian novelist, Timothy Findlay, his novel The Butterfly Plague. Heard of Findlay? Never read Findlay? Gonna read Findlay. That's all you need to know. We have another Doris Lessing here, this is perhaps the most famous book. It's The Golden Notebook. That's her there. Look at that, those pages flipping there, plenty of them. But yeah. Okay, let's move all that over there. And what is this? This is what the hell is this? This is Miss Reed, or Red, however you say it. Winter in Thrush Green. I'm I'm pretty sure I got this because it is a penguin. I do like me the penguins. And I've never heard of this author before. But I figured, hey, it's only $2.50. May as well get it, try it out, and see. We've got more Patrick White here. The Aunt's Story, another novel by him, which is neat. Another Patrick White, The Tree of Man. Yet another Patrick White. What is this? A Solid Mandala, which is of his novels, The Aunt's Story, and this one, according to an interview from 1973 when he won the Nobel Prize. These are his favorites out of the books he's written. So we'll see how they go. Maybe. Yeah, damn! Keep hitting that bloody camera. Anyway, we got here Oliver Lafarge's novel *Laughing Boy*, which I've always wanted to read. I heard of, but I was never able to find a copy. So now I have one. So I'll read it one of these days. We have another Doris Lessing, In Pursuit of the English. Very nice old copy. This time we have here John Fowles, who is the author of The French Lieutenant's Woman, as well as The Magus. And this is his short story collection, The Ebony Tower. And, that's that there. Got V.S. Naipaul, who recently died, author of such books as The Bend in the River, Enigma of Arrival, and India of Perished Civilization, Damaged Civilization, one of those, Wounded Civilization, that's it. This is his book, The Loss of El Dorado. The main reason I got it is because I saw Bend in the River there several years ago at this one bookshop. Picked it up, and this hung around for the longest time. I sort of felt bad for it, so I picked it up as a pity buy. So there's that. Next we got here John Cheever, who is the great American short story writer. We got, I suppose, what is a novel. Oh, What a Paradise It Seems. Very short thing, but worth checking out, maybe. We got here not John Krasinski, Jerzy Kosinski, The Painted Bird. There's him back there. Kinda doesn't. He looks like Peter Falk, actually, but he's not. Anyway, novel that I've heard about a lot. Gonna read it one day. so we'll see. Right, so out of the last pile of this box, and I think I'll split up this video because it's just too bloody long. I'll split it up into 2 parts, and we'll see. Anyway, so next up we have here is made into the Steven Spielberg film. We have the novel, The Empire of the Sun by J.G. Ballard. Was looking actually for The Drowned World and Crash, among a whole bunch of other things, but I found Empire of the Sun, and I was like, hey, that's a Ballard novel, so why not read it, or why not have it, or buy it, whatever. Okay, this was this was a buy solely on the fact that it looked neat. This is Culloden, I don't know how to say that, by John Preble, how do you say? I have no idea what this is about. I only got it because this cover looks like something out of Monty Python. So, that's neat. Maybe. You may or may not know this, but I am a huge fan of the writer Henry James, and I got here a collection of his tales, or stories rather, of the supernatural. This includes such stories as Turn of the Screw, Sir Edmund Orne, The Romance of Certain Old Cloves, Beast in the Jungle, The Jolly Corner, a whole bunch of others. Or the Third Person, Owen Wingrave, all that type of thing. So, I've been looking for a bind-up of those. We got ourselves, trying to collect all the Winnie the Pooh volumes. So we have, by A.A. Milne, Now We Are Six. Nice little hardcover edition. Okay, this is a book that initially I didn't like that much when I first read it, but since I saw the not even one episode, like half an episode of the Netflix adaptation of it, and found that it was just so horrible that I didn't want to continue, I earned greater respect for this book, and I don't know what's going on out there. House noises, I guess. Anyway, this is Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, or Hill House, and I figured, hey, after seeing that crap, this is actually a pretty good book. So, got Anton Chekhov's The Duel. Chekhov being one of Russia's greatest short story writers, and this is his short novel, which was made into a film, as you could see. So yeah, got a couple John Updikes here, who, as you know, is the author of Rabbit Run and all this stuff. This is some of his Rabbit series. This is Rabbit Redux, or Rabbit Redo, as you say, however you say it, and Rabbit is Rich. Now all I need is a rabbit and rest, and I'll have the complete Rabbit series under me belt. They're not read, so we'll see. Already have this, but it's a hardcover edition, and I'll get rid of the paperback, which is good. This is The House at Pooh Corner, A.A. Milne. Next we have a novel by James M. Cain, who is a crime writer, or was a crime writer, and this is Mildred Pierce. So, just trying to see how he is. And finally, in this box, we have a novel, I think it's a novel, by an author who I've read, as I said, major portions of his work, and you can probably already see it. It's Kazuo Ishiguro. But I read Remains of the Day, or at least most of it, and enjoyed it. So I figured I may as well get one of his books. That was it, and it was at the Goodwill for a cent. and it was an artist of the floating world. As you know, Kazuo Ishiguro won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2017, which makes him the most recent Nobel laureate, which is neat. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of pile of books there. I'm going to cut off this video right here and upload part 2 here pretty soon. So stay tuned for that.